Hello, hello, and welcome back to more Hero Infinite, and this time with a new hero and new player, Vicus. Introduce yourself, Vicus.
Hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Hero Infinite.
Yay!
And now it's time to introduce a new DM and new game master. Except it's the same one,
Yeah,
Ollie.
no, I'm leaving. We got a new game master, Ferdinand. Everybody say hello to Ferdinand.
Yes.
Hello,
Don't worry.
I am Ferdinand. I will be DMing this session. I want you to know I was so dedicated to the bit that I actually held my finger up to underneath my nose like a shitty mustache. I feel like that's important to state.
As always,
Hello, Sweepy. Hello, hey, Quickson. We got people in, yay!
Mr. Quickson, Mr. Sleepy.
I feel like I'm probably reading... It's probably not Quickson, it's Quisken?
Listen.
Quisken? Quizzen?
Listen. I'm just going to say Quiznos for now.
Quiznos. This week, we're going to be battling the Quiznos goblin things from those old Quiznos ads.
There's a Quiznos goblin?
Oh god, I don't remember what it's called. It's not called the Quiznos goblin. I forget what they're called.
That's the thing. For me, I always thought of it. I always mixed up Quiznos and Sizzlers. I don't know why, but it's just
I'll sizzle your Quizno if you know what I'm saying.
Hey.
But anyway,
you know how it is.
I'm trying to get better about recording sessions, so let's not spend the first 20 minutes talking about non-hero stuff.
But that's my character, Quiznos Man.
Quiznos Man? Oh, you just got way louder.
Yeah, because oh no.
I guess.
Sorry, I was going to do a funny thing where I flipped something onto my bed, which you couldn't see. So that was just for me. But I should have like that. Never mind.
It's okay.
I was slouching down and anything where I was flipping like a coin onto my bed because I'm like I don't want for like during session. But now I just have now there's just a coin in the middle of the room in an awkward place.
Swallow it.
Bet. I ain't going to pick up this, but I'm...
Anyway, let's get on topic.
Okay, I'm flipping this one over then.
Are
you serious?
So, let's just try and hop right into it. Oh god, I'm really bad with character intro sessions.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Aren't we all?
So we open up on... hang on. I'm doing math in my head real fast. We open up in the year 1916. The British countryside. The home of a small sheep ranching family. A shepherd family. That's the word.
Sheep ranching. Don't worry, we're not Scottish.
Oh god. Scots. Great Scott! That's the next hero joining the campaign. Anyway. Great Scott. It's just the Scottish dude from Samurai Jack. But yeah. What happens is, Sorry, I'm bad at introductions. We open up on the English countryside. A shepherd, the house of a shepherding family. The camera pans into it, and we can see older man and older woman. You know, like maybe in their like 40s. The woman preparing dinner as the man is like, you know, relaxing after a hard day's work, and you know, just like as we pan around, we can see some old British military equipment. Like medals and such placed in a position of honor. Pictures of a deceased family member wearing military garb, and pictures of a clearly younger version of the old man wearing military garb. And additionally, we see a number of drawings from a young boy or a young child. So, some of them, showing like, you know, man in military uniform, and it says like my dad the hero and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and as we pan across it, the woman makes her way to the back door and rings a big bell, and she's like, oh god, Vicus, what's the name of your character again? I forget.
Off to a great start.
What's his name?
Charles.
Charles, dinner! She rings the bell, and there's no response for a few moments. She's like, Charles! Now where'd that boy go off to? He's probably just out having some fun. He'll come home soon enough. Let's just start preparing his plate. Alright. With that, the camera moves across the fields, and we see, some distance away, the kids running around, a couple kids running around holding sticks and, like, aiming, like, standing in lines, pointing the sticks at each other, making pooh, pooh, reenacting, like, old-style war stuff,
Yes.
And, like, one of them taking the position of, like, a general and being like, we need to move, go over there, hide in the ditch, and they're all, like, running around having fun, and amongst them is young Charles. Do you want to describe what the young boy of 10 years old looks like?
The young boy would be... Oh, jeez. Apparently there's... Oh, wow, that must be gunfire with how much creaking there is from my chair.
Get a hero
Feels like
point.
it's from the 1916s.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. He'd be an average lad of 10 years old. Not he's nothing too special as the other characters.
Like any like hair
in
color or
childhood
eye
might
color
be.
traits?
I'd say that he'd have that of a regular shepherd family. Just a solid brown hair, like a dark hazel eye, or not hazel, dark hazel, just regular hazel eyes.
Because as we know, all shepherds are brunettes.
Listen, as you know, all shepherds have that style to them. If you may know, it's a generality.
Okay, so yeah, just like average young boy.
Average young boy, not built like those strong ones that you always see. That always were large for some reason because of genetics.
But as you run and you like jump, you were running with the other kids and you jump into a little spot of cover, and you guys are like hiding, like little kid laughing stuff, and then a pine cone falls down. One of the other kids goes like, "Grenade! Grenade! Ah!" And they all scatter, as well as young Charles, who runs off a little bit and then trips and he falls forward, like he runs and he stops as he like hits like the edge of a steep hill, like tries to stop himself but trips and falls forward over it, and he starts to fall down towards the rocky area below, and then suddenly you're just pinned, like you brace for impact, and then it never comes, and as you open your eyes, you're floating a few meters in the air above the rocks.
This is quite strange.
As you look around, you suddenly feel yourself like spin and lower down, and you can see sat on under a nearby tree, a woman wearing like velvety purple robes with rings and bangles all up her arm. She sort of glances up, and you can see like a faint green glow to her eyes as you touch the ground as she moves her hand down. And then she pulls her hand back, and you suddenly feel what was previously almost a feeling of something wrapped around you being gone.
I think I've just seen a witch. Wait.
Sorry, what'd you say?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I just looked and it didn't go green. I think I've just seen a witch.
Hello, young man.
Kind of shies away for a moment.
Playing hero with your friends?
Yeah.
She sort of like turns away a little bit, like looking off to the west, and as she does, you see that she's holding what appears to be a little crystal ball, which she slowly lets roll from her grasp, and it just sort of floats there in the air. And she just looks off in the distance with it there next to her. And as she does, you notice something unfurl from under her robes as you realize she has a cat's tail.
And I'm not sure if I've seen, well, many people around here, I suppose. Or at least none like you that I've seen.
Oh, I doubt you would. Charles, right?
Yes.
She's,
Yes, ma'am.
hmm. You will do great things, you know that, Charles?
Um,
A time of great danger is going to come to the world soon. And you will make all the difference. And she sort of like looks to the little crystal ball, and you can see like what looks like images flashing through it.
It'll lean in, sort of just interested at the spectacle in front of me.
You see images of the flags of different nations flying, and of like large balls of fire, and of mushroom shaped fire, and like strange looking vehicles, and like a man appears with wings on his back, and another what looks like a cowboy flashes by for a moment. Some sort of metallic man, fox with like energy erupting from it, and then suddenly an image of a strange looking suit with a gas mask and leather and copper, and from it like slightly foggy mist erupts from it, and that image almost like sears in your vision for a moment before you hear someone call out, "Charles, where'd you go, Charles?"
Kind of just snaps back to reality. Oop, gravity's back again. Um,
Back to reality.
I suppose that's my mother
Yeah.
calling. Hi.
Yeah. Well, it was like another kid's voice.
Yes.
So like I imagine you like turn and look in the direction that it came from.
Well, who else would be calling my name? Other
Well,
like.
some of your friends that you
Well,
were
I
just playing with.
know, but you know,
Oh,
there's no other reason they'd be calling me.
well, because
We're
you're
just
the friend
we're
that you're
just chilling. Oh,
you're the
wait a
friend they were
second!
just playing with.
Big idiot mode. I just remembered I was playing with my friends.
Yeah.
I was entrapped by this lady.
As you look away, to them, and then turn back, starting to say like, "Oh, that's my," and she's gone, and there's just no woman there. But as you look down, you can see what looks like a bullet from a revolver.
This is mine. I'm taking this.
And you like tuck it in your pocket and like go and look for the other kids essentially.
Memento for the occasion. Mm-hmm.
As you take it and like, you look at it for a moment and then clutch your hand and start to run, and then we fade to that bullet sitting on a desk. As a young man, 18 years old, is sitting at a like homemade wooden desk, like sort of sketching little images and like pictures and stuff, like more detailed drawings,
Mm-hmm.
like not like expert level, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And it's now 4 years later, or no, wait, 8 years later,
Indeed.
and that 10-year-old boy is a young man of 18 years. From the other room, we hear, "Charles, dinner's ready."
I'm coming in a moment. I just think that I might be able to finish this before. Said that times, but I'm sure of it.
I mean, like, do you, after a moment, you, like, get up and head to the other room, right?
Yes.
And as you step to the other room, there's, uh, th- 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 inside the other room is just or, God, I can't use words. An older woman sits having finished preparing the meal. The young man, or you make your way in, help her with, like, getting it all on the table, essentially. You know?
As any good son would do.
Yeah. And then at the back door, you hear, like, a light knock, and the door sort of like just opens up. The person letting themselves in, and you glance up and see your friend Arthur stepping in. I'm not interrupting anything, am I?
Of course not.
Oh, Arthur, let me prepare a spot at the table for you. Oh, I was just popping in to say hi. You don't need to prepare a meal for me. Oh, no, I insist. Please, sit down, sit down. And he sort of chuckles. He makes his way over, and Arthur is one of your childhood friends that you've always played with.
Yeah. Customary childhood friends come over. Any particular occasion?
Just, thought I'd come over for a chat. Have you been looking at the news? And he goes over and, sits down at the table.
Hard to not... Well, hard to drown it out, if I'm being honest.
There's more and more talk that the war in the East is going to be escalating. There's talk that we might be joining in with France.
I wouldn't doubt such things to be, well, true. Considering tensions rising.
He sort of lightly punches your arm and says, "Hey, don't be so glum. This is our chance, right? To finally fall up to the glory and honor of our parents and grandparents, right?
To rise to the occasion in a world brimming with chaos.
Go on an adventure, be a real hero, and give it to those krauts, huh?"
Suppose so. Just like old times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Old times.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you're gonna sign up, right? I know I am.
Pondering the question, or decision, if I'm being honest.
Come on. I can't imagine it'll be that different from the other war, or from the wars of our parents. We'll sign up, pop over, see the rest of Europe, be back home by the end of the year. Or we'll be back home by the end of the year, be heroes, and get one of those big fancy government checks. Maybe we'll finally be able to open up that store or that business in God, I can't use words. Maybe we'll finally have enough money to open up that business in London we talked about a few years ago.
It does sound tempting, and I suppose some of the other fellows can take care of Nan. Pop for me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'll be fine. Your mother goes over and sits down. You'll be back before I even miss you, I'm sure, setting down a couple of drinks. And your father would be so proud of you if you did. I only imagine how happy he'd be to hear you even talking of going to war like he did. And she looks over to the 2 silver urns sat with all the war medals.
Oh. Promise me you'll be safe, alright?
Of course I'll be safe. And then your friend lifts the glass and he's like, "Hey, to victory. To a swift victory, eh? We'll give it to those. God, what did they call them? It wasn't the Axis power. It was the
Triple Entente. Was it that? I'm fairly certain.
Yeah, God, I was looking at
the
a bunch
central powers.
Yeah. We'll give those central powers a 1-4, huh? It's great. They're saying that this will be the Great War. the war to end all wars. But think about it. We'll be part of world peace.
A noble cause to fight for, I'll be certain.
I imagine you guys like clank your glasses together.
Mm-hmm.
And as he does, the word echoes through your mind. In and out. Years tops. And then we fade from clinking glasses to two canteens sitting on someone's hip. 2 years later. The trenches in France. Yeah, young, or a now 20-year-old, now 20-year-old Charles, now 20-year-old Charles sitting in the trenches, the occasional sound of shells heard in the distance. The two canteens hung from your hip. You go you are walking through the trenches. Obviously a little bit shell shook and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And then imagine the Fallout 3 transitions. That's a fun way to imagine it.
Very nice, Quiznos. I'm thinking the same.
Quiznos. Quiznos follows me. Not a sponsor. As you make your way over to as you walk along, you see Arthur sort of turned off to the side in the bunker with his back to you.
So, I old enough, friend.
He looks over and he's like, he see him try to hide something. He's like, I'd say pretty good. And he sort of smiles. And then he turns around and you see he's holding one of those military tin biscuits with a little candle on top. And crudely carved into the side of the candle with a knife is a big 2-0. I'm late by about 2 weeks, but it's something, right? And he chuckles.
Well, better than your predictions for this war, but I'm glad to accept it.
He looks a little solemn as he hands you the cookie and sits the two of you are sat down at on little old empty ammo crates. And he's like, I'm sorry I got you wrapped in this, Charles.
There were places to be then, beside a friend. Could be, well, one of the bodies over the top.
I suppose.
Come on. It's my birthday. Or a belated celebration. Shouldn't be too glum about things. Or at least our situation.
You see, he looks a little pale and nervous. Hello?
Hello.
Oh, yes, I was saying he just looks a little pale and nervous as the two of you sit there. You don't have the cookie with the candle on it.
Well, share a thing. It's rude to not share such joy in the world. Correct?
Yeah. And what are you saying? You're gonna share the cookie with him? The biscuit?
Snap into.
Yeah.
Try my best.
Yeah, you give it a snap, hand him half, and the two of you start munching. He swallows the first bite. He's like, I heard our commander on the radio with the general. He refused a command to charge out of the trenches yesterday. They want to send us into the machine gun fire. He sits back a little and he's like, sometimes it's starting to feel like we're just bodies to the government, How much of a difference are we even making out here? I feel like this war's never gonna end.
I suppose that I could get further out there with a shovel and a bucket rather than hopping over there.
Dig over? That's assuming they don't fire a shell into us the moment they see it happening. Have you seen some of the weapons they're using? I heard they've broken the old treaties. There's rumors of gases being dropped in the trenches by those big balloons of theirs.
Nonsense. Sure that no one will resort to anything barbaric as that. Next thing you're telling me that we'll be shot at like skits.
I don't know. Those German, or it's not Germans. It's is it Germany? Yeah, it is. It's Germany and Austria-Hungary. Those
Yes.
Germans are barbaric. One of the men from the other platoon said that they saw them firing on a group of civilians. Civilians. And then suddenly you hear a whistle blowing, and everybody getting up and scrambling, and the commander's like, Zeppelin overhead! Zeppelin overhead! Keep your heads down! Wait for the command! So, what'd you say? Sorry.
Suppose that's our cue. I'm going to get my binoculars just to make sure. They aren't too
Are you grabbing
far.
actual binoculars right now?
Actually, yes.
Get a hero point.
If you didn't know, I have quite a few things to help me with, to help me and make sound effects.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see them in a moment.
Oh boy. So yeah, you fucking you're gonna grab a pair of binoculars and look off over into the distance.
Yep. Making sure that these reports don't have no merit for them.
Fun. Sorry, I'm just quickly looking for. We never pinned your character stats. Oh god, hold on, where are they?
And yoop.
Hold on. Oh god, I'm scrolling to find the character stats. Do you have your character stats on? Oh, I found them. I was gonna ask if you had them on hand so I didn't have to keep scrolling, but there we go. Okay.
Pinned if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I've just pinned it now.
Ah.
Okay, so, you pull out the binoculars and peek over the distance, and you can see fucking, a zeppelin creeping across the sky, large and ominous. On the side of it is a insignia that you assume must be for some sort of military battalion group or something, but it's certainly an ominous looking one. It's what appears to be a snake's mouth, like a snake eating a human skull, essentially.
Okay.
And you see things it's dropping things out the bottom, and even worse, you see what stuff shooting out the sides for even further distance. And as you follow down the stuff dropping, it takes you a moment to realize those aren't bombs. As a cloud starts to creep across the ground through the trenches in your guys' direction. Sorry,
around.
What?
Bug on me.
Yeah, you sort of cut out while you're saying that.
It's exasperated line. British slang. Whatever.
Just bug. Oh, you said bug me. Okay.
Nope.
Okay. So what do you do when you see that?
I'm going for a moment, right? These are the moments which make a person, which make a hero, one might say.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're willing to jump into the fray, and, well, find your call to action, or if you're going to freeze.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is a moment where Charles freezes.
Hmm.
Oh no. He is. In these few moments, he's unsure as what to do. And is paralyzed at the sight. He wouldn't think that such thing is possible. Suppose he had some sort of faith in humanity, but or at least in this level of civility. So, but after a moment, he kind of scrambles to put on his gas mask. Just,
you guys don't have gas masks.
oh, you're right. Oh, yeah, that's a funny thing.
you don't know that they were using gas weapons yet. Like,
Funny.
granted, timeline-wise, yes, the Germans did start dropping gas weapons before this point, but like, because we're 2 years into the war, but his battalion doesn't know and hasn't been given the equipment yet, because shh.
Yeah, you know why? Because we thought we knew. We thought we're still early.
Yeah. So now...
We didn't evolve to the meta yet.
So, I'm at you immediately like panicking. Are you gonna like try and say things to everyone else? Or like, do you run to the commander, to Arthur, your friend, or to a random person?
I'm going to run to Arthur, seeing as this is the... I don't know who else to go to.
Alright, so what do you do is you like run toward him. He's like getting his equipment ready and like, you know, getting ready to like find a spot to hunker down for the fucking the Zeppelin and all that, you know?
We need to run. I saw the gas. You're right. That it's coming.
What do you mean?
I saw it down. I kind of hold up my my case with the binoculars in them that are like wrapped around my hip. They're there. I saw it. They were dropping it. It's coming towards the trenches.
So that like tries to like shift and like look up over the edge of the trenches. And, you know, he peeks, like trying to keep his head down, holding his helmet on his head, and he notices what you're pointing out. And he just has this look of like, oh fuck. As he looks over, he's like, they're using gas weapons, and like he starts calling it out, and they're all looking like, huh? And he starts like running through the crowd, like the trenches, like trying to like alert like everybody up. It's like, we need to get out of here. They're gassing us. And like the commander looks over and is like, wait, what? They're going to gas us. Look. And he like scrambles around and he grabs like fucking somebody's pocket mirror that they dropped and like shoves it into the commander's hand, and he like uses it to look over. And he's like, God, Lord be damned. They're using chemical weaponry. Barbarians. And he like looks to the others, like, or he looks across everybody. He's like, we need to leave the trench. And everybody like looks nervous, like, oh, like what the fuck? They're dropping chemical weaponry. If they've done that, they've surely left their trenches. They've surely emptied their trenches already without us even realizing it. We need to get out of here now. And everybody starts like, you know, getting like crates and ladders and starts like heaving each other up or climbing up on their own. They all just start fucking spilling out of the trenches to run. I'm
going to find Arthur, if I may.
I imagine you would have tried to stick close to him as he was running through, warning everyone.
Yes.
Yeah, which, you approach him, and he's like still trying to like get some other people to know, and then like basically helping some people climb up, and he looks to you, and he's like, get on my hands, and like puts his hands together so he can like step on them.
Damn, fine. I'm just going to I'm going to try my best. Take this step as we did as kids to get over walls and such.
Yeah. So this is going to be a level 2 athletics check with advantage. You're getting a bonus from being, you know, a military soldier.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to use your hero points in any way to fudge or adjust the roll?
I think I'm good.
That's a level 2 challenge, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. So you get exactly 2 successes due to you'd gotten fucking... You would have gotten more, but you had some dice breaks. But, you know, he heaves you up, and now you're at the top, and you can see, like, you look over and you see the cloud, like, coming closer, and then you see fucking, you notice that, like, as you get up and out, you look over, and you can see, artillery firing from, your guys' end, you know? So, like, you know, you have to thought, like, oh, thank God they're firing on the enemy, kind of thing. And then one of them lands near where the opponent's trench would have been. But as you look over, you do notice like there's no gunfire coming from there. So, like was said, that trench was probably abandoned.
Mhm.
And you see gas erupt from that one, as you see your side is using chemical weaponry too.
This isn't safe. We need to go to the other side. Retreat if we can. If we can.
Yeah. Oh well, all your people are moving to retreat back to base as well, like back towards France. Like you're moving away from
Yes.
Germany towards France is the retreat direction, you know.
I know,
And
I'm
they're
just
firing
saying.
over your trench to the German trench.
Mhm.
Sorry, just wanted to make sure I was painting the picture clearly enough.
Mhm.
Sorry. So do you still say like we need to retreat down to Arthur?
Mhm. Grab my hand, and I'm going to try to just extend it.
All right. This is going to be a level 2 challenge with no advantage, which you pass as you heave him up and out.
Onwards and upwards.
You notice that the German gas and the French gas or British gas or the ally gas are two different colors. With the ally gas having like what color was mustard gas?
Well, that's the reason it was called mustard gas.
Yeah,
because
yellow.
It was a mustard color.
Okay, I thought so. Yeah, a mustard yellow gas coming from your shells, but more of like a green, like a pale green gas coming from the ones fired from the Zeppelin.
This is not good. They're using something
We both.
strange. No.
Wait, is our side firing gas as well? Jesus. And he just like starts like he turns to start running, but he looks over and he notices there's still some people like trying to get out of the trench, and he runs over and starts helping hoist a bunch of them out. So rather than running with a lot of the other soldiers, he's going back to help more people.
What are you doing? We need to leave.
I can't leave them behind. You go.
You know that I can't leave you.
And I imagine you follow him as he starts helping people up, and he's like, "Well, if you can't leave, then help me help them." And here is
Oh,
hang on, hot bar. So we're actually going to have two different situations going on. Hang on. I dropped something in my keyboard. Get out of there. You don't belong in there. There we go. It got out. So, on the top line, we are going to have a measure of you trying to get soldiers out into safety, which is currently standing on that.
mhm.
Meanwhile, on the bottom line, we are going to have how close the gas has gotten to you guys. Basically, the idea being that you are going to perform roles to try and save people, but at the moment that the gas reaches the end, you will be enveloped in the cloud. You know what I mean?
I get you.
So, what is your plan on how to help people out currently? Like, it's trenches, there's shovels, there's barbed wire, there's boards of wood and boxes, there's you and your friend and a couple other soldiers trying to help people.
Mm-hmm. Considering the way this is built, it wouldn't be easier, one might say, to go over the top, as there are certain places for such things. Considering that, I would say, how would I do this? How would I do this? I'd look back to my childhood.
I think things you did when you were young.
How cross the gap? The plank, the log from back in the bridge, the log from that stream. Remember,
What?
Arthur, remember when we couldn't pass that stream that was larger than even Steven. That
When we
gigantic
knocked down
guy.
the old tree.
Exactly.
But how is that gonna get people out of? And then he like stops and thinks for a moment. He's like, I think I get what you mean. We can make a ramp. And he looks around. He's like, but what are we gonna use?
Um,
So I'm going to go ahead and make that like basically a search check or a scavenge check, so to say.
fair enough.
So you're rolling just the basic 5, and I'm going to make it a difficulty 3 check to find something that can be used to like make a ramp up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you spend any hero points before I get the roll going?
You know what? I'll do it. I'll spend a hero point. First one of the game.
To buy an additional die?
Yes.
Alright. So, you got 3 successes with 1 dice break. So, if you want, in order to pass, you'll need to spend another hero points to get rid of to ignore the dice break, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
You want to do that?
Yes, please.
Alright. So you guys find like a board
Well.
and throw it down into the trench, and I'm now gonna do an additional roll outside of that for how many people like notice the ramp and go running out. Hang on.
Can I do something?
What?
I'm going to take my service revolver.
Mm-hmm.
If you heard that.
I did.
Nice. Aim it up and fire.
Okay, I'll roll an additional die for that, because I'm counting that's definitely something that counts as a main. Like, looking for the board and getting it down was your major action. That is a minor action, I'll count as. So, okay. Oh, hold on. Okay. 5 a group of 4 people go running over, having noticed the fucking, like, what you've done. You and Arthur fucking go over and you basically, like, you know how they would support the trenches with large boards of wood?
Mm-hmm.
You guys basically go and, like, use a small plank to, or no, you use a rifle to unpry, like, a loose one of those and knock it down to create something people can climb to get out of faster.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, the gas moves in slowly, creeping towards your guys' position. So now what I'm gonna do is consistently the log is going to save 1 person per turn, but you can perform actions to save more. What do you do in your next turn?
Let's see. He thinks for a moment. What else could they do? What,
Like, there's the obvious solution of just hoisting people out, but
there is the obvious solution. But how do we think outside the box? As judgment is usually clouded, as is time in the countryside and drawing nose. The most obvious things are clouded through panic and overthinking.
mm-hmm.
So, is there anything he's missing? And tries thinking. The and he thinks for a moment. The time that they used to sneak out and sneak out of his house, and how there would be and how they were tired of climbing the tree every single night, and how eventually he made he got some things from the barn, such as rope, and tied it to his bedpost and climbed down. Surely when the bedpost broke, he was in heaps of trouble, but now there might be some help in that, in his thoughts at least, or in his experience. So,
Also, real quick, get 2 hero points for contextualizing your decisions with moments from your youth.
Thank you. It's a fun character thing.
Yeah, I like it. So what are you gonna try and do?
Seeing as there are places for the barbed wire to be strung across, usually usually wooden posts where the coils are.
Mm-hmm.
He's going, um, normally there would be maintenance things, so he's thinking, if there's going to be that, he could put something down there and make kind of like ropes if there's a thing. Like, basically, like, I forget what it's called, like posts, climbing posts or something. I don't know,
Yeah,
something better.
you're gonna sort of like throw down like some fencing support to give people a pseudo ladder.
Yes.
Okay. You go over and you start trying to strip the barbed wire from some, but you rolled a crashing failure, negative success value.
Big oops.
You don't. So your options would be, you could spend 1 hero point to move it from a crashing failure to a normal failure by getting rid of the one dice break that caused it. You could spend 10 to completely roll the action, or honestly, your best option would be to spend 1 to get rid of the dice break, or just accept the failure.
I think I'm taking it.
All right. So
not every plan can be won from the heavens. So
yeah,
I'll take
you get
it.
slightly tangled within the barbed wire trying to get it loose, which slows you down, allowing the gas to advance more. Meanwhile, the gas, it just, advances more on its own turn.
Mm-hmm.
But you get the persistence of the other thing always helping one person up, and meanwhile your friend is gonna go. He's gone down into the trench and is helping hoist people up from below, essentially. Like, letting them like use his shoulders for support and stuff, and he's able to get 2 more in the time that it takes for the gas to advance where it is.
All right. Seeing as actually wait.
Oh, also I just realized, why didn't I do this? So it is now your turn again.
Mm-hmm.
What is your plan? Just hoist people up, or you be clever again? Clever. Or do you want to continue trying to strip the barbed wire off and use that thing again?
Simplicity. What can I do in a situation as dire as this? It's fine. This war's going to just take a year, tops. There's a reason I was able to survive this long. A reason I was able to, well, bear through all the things that have been happening. Such reason is having someone to talk to, having someone to be there with you, and most of all, just having a friend from your past.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to do my best and help Arthur in...
So, you and Arthur are just gonna hoist people up?
Yes.
Alright.
It'd be rude to leave a friend behind.
Result. Oh, get a hero point for that. As you hop down, say that to him, and he nods. The 2 of you help up another group of soldiers, and the gas advances more. So are you guys just gonna keep together, getting people out, hoisting them out, giving them step on my hands, step on my shoulders, on my back, doing that essentially?
Yes, that's what I'm doing at least.
Oh, and I forgot the thing you knocked over, giving the persistence plus 1 person out.
Hey.
Okay. 3. You guys saved 3 plus 1. The trench the gas advances 3 on the trench.
Ooh.
And are you gonna keep up the same action?
Yep. Teamwork, as they say.
Okay, that rolls result. And you don't help anybody. You guys are just making your way to the last group, which I'm gonna say, as you start making your way to them, you see that it's a group that as they were going out, in one of the a unfired mustard gas cylinder from your guys' end knocked some shit loose and trapped a couple of guys underneath some of the wood support beam.
Mm-hmm.
So they're sort of like stuck there, and like that's the last couple people who haven't left from your platoon. So I imagine you're like running over to help them.
Mm-hmm.
Which, okay, you run over, fucking. You and Arthur like hoist the stuff, like pull some of the dirt back and help pull them out and like get them on your shoulders, and they're running. And the cloud is looming right there. It's about to go over, and now it's just you and Arthur in the trench. And
You've already helped me once. It's time I repay the favor.
he nods, and you like help hoist him out, lifting him up. And he's gonna look down to like reach down to basically try and like help you. And but as you hoist him up and he's like stepping up, you know how I said that the unfired mustard gas canister sort of stuck in the side of your trench?
Mm-hmm.
His foot hits that as he goes up, and it drops down by you. And he looks over at you for a moment. Charles? And then as it falls down, it kinks, starts to release the mustard gas. Charles, no! Literally at your feet, mustard gas erupting.
I'll make it out. I'll find a different way. Just be safe, alright?
Oh jeez, your volume fluctuates so much. I keep trying to adjust you.
I'm very sorry.
It's okay. You got good range. Alright, fucking, he starts to run back, escaping from the trench. But then the other gas envelops over the top, and you're caught between the green and the yellow gases, where you start to like hack and cough and wheeze, and your vision gets fuzzy, and you hear the sound of more like shells firing off overhead. As you fall down holding your chest, you start to like fade out, and eventually you start to wake back up, and you feel like packed in. And you you look around, barely able to move, realizing that you've become surrounded in fucking gas, or not in gas, in dirt, as the trench collapsed, the wall collapsed over you. You're just buried there, your mind foggy, your chest hurting, it feels like it's hard to breathe.
Pressure.
Yeah, it's like, you're just like, under pressure. Can't see anything, can't hear anything, and you're just there, like that. You're thinking like, surely I must be dying. Like, that's it, there's nothing can happen. As you sit there for the hours going on, passing, one thing you start to realize is you never quite feel tired. You start to realize you're never feeling hungry or thirsty, and time just keeps passing, and what feels like hours becomes feeling like days, becomes feeling like weeks, becomes feeling impossible to tell how much time is passing as you're just here in darkness, unable to move. There's nothing. You realize that this must be what death is nothing. Consciousness, but nothing else. You're dead. You've accepted it. An uncountable amount of time has passed. You've barely hung on to sanity, running through events of your past. Almost seeming to conjure up, like, waking dreams to keep yourself sane. Until one day, a crack of light. You feel brightness, but just as fast as it appears, you feel the pressure relieving, and it almost feels like you're being pushed up and forward into the light. You're ascending, and then suddenly, you're there. A nice grassy field. Around you, sunlight, the sky, a light breeze. But everything feels off and weird, as you almost feel lighter than air. You see everything around you. In all directions. You hear and smell and feel everything that's happening. And you can see that around you is a group of, people dressed in like, like, how do I put this? People just dressed in like well dressed in suits and such. And as they're all looking at you, they're all like looking baffled in your direction, all surrounding you, and you can see all of them at once. And you recognize, is that Arthur? It can't be. He's so old. He looks like he's got to be at least in his 80s. They're you notice they're all like holding things over their mouths and have stepped back a little bit, looking at you as you look at all of them at once. Like, do you try and like say or do anything or move toward any of them?
I kind of look around for a moment and think aloud, as I would have been doing for these years that I perceived. If I knew that God would have made a judgment and allowed me to ascend as a spirit, I thought it would have been in a more timely manner.
Arthur sort of smirks. He's like, boys, we found... hold on, wait, what's the... Oh god, I had the name of an area in France. We found the ghost of such and such field. God, I'm sorry, I forgot the name. I don't want to waste time digging through my notes, though.
Oh, it's fine.
The ghost of such and such field. And then we're gonna crossfade.
I think that sounds exactly like a name that they'd make.
Yeah. We then cut...
A bunch of Englishmen just saying, I don't care about what this is called, it's such and such field.
We cut to the camera moving through the cities of Paris, people wearing the nice 70s style for, fashion, funky music playing as the text appears on screen notes, Paris, France, 1979. And we can, or maybe not, wait, no, is it 1979? Hold on. No, I think that's the wrong year. Yeah, hold on. It is 1977. In the theater, fucking the first episode of Star Wars is playing in Paris. People listening to funky music and all of that, and we're moving through, and then we land on a nondescript building, and underneath the 1977 text appears. What is it? Agency, what is it? I had a name for this group. Hold on. Let me hang on. Notes. I have notes, Brian. You don't have to sit here and rack your brain. You have notes.
If we're in the 70s, I might as well work on my Austin Powers impression.
Huh?
Yeah, baby.
I've been trying to clean up my notes and make them look nicer, but I've not been doing good at it.
Such is the plight of a DM or GM. Excuse me while I move away from my microphone for a moment.
Oh, there we go. Wait, are you here, Vicus?
I am.
Okay. The text appears and it says, or the text that we get is Organization of Societal Preservation. And then all of them, the letters go away except for OSP, which then, it becomes like the abbreviation of that. And as we move in, we can see, a almost like test lab looking building where a cloud of gas floats there, manipulating like objects into like basically a children's puzzle, and we are looking through like the back end of a two-way mirror, and there's some people like old Arthur next to a stern-looking woman, and they're both looking in, and she's like, or he's like, certainly something, isn't it? That's one way to put it. So what is he? And she looks over to scientists sitting over at the side typing at a 1970s computer, and he's just like, it's hard to explain.
Would it be a computer, or would they be using typewriters at this point?
Computers existed in the 70s, right?
I mean, kind of.
I think so.
Makes sense.
When was the computer invented? Let's see here. Computers as we know them came about, I'm getting early 20th century, or hang on, no, there's ancient computers, which are like mechanical computers. I'm looking for not mechanical computers. There we go.
It'll be like brand new.
The first electrical computer concept was created by the U.S. Navy in 1936.
Ooh.
But then vacuum tube ones would have come around in the when is this? Somewhere in the 1940s.
Mm-hmm.
Then transistor came about in 1925, 1940, somewhere in the a little later. So yeah, 1970s had computers. Hold on, let me look up actually specifically 1970 computer. Yeah, because I think the Nazis had computers. Yeah, the 1970s is when we started getting like the first home computers.
Oh, okay.
So like the guys,
it would be computers.
Yeah, the guys,
semi-computer, quasi-computers.
Shitty computers.
Yeah.
The guy's sitting there typing at the computer, and it's like, it's hard to explain. You certainly, Charles, he says as he looks over at Arthur, and it's like, something happened to his body. I don't know how to put it into words. And then like you see like a render of like a person appear on this screen. It's like, everyone is made out of atoms, as you know, and all of these atoms, they're held together. That's what makes us us. No duh, the woman said. Or no, of course I know that, the woman says, sort of like exasperatedly. Well, what's happened with Arthur is those atoms, and he hits a key, and all like the render becomes just a dozen little bits floating around the screen. They broke apart, but are still quantumly entangled. It's as if he's still a living, breathing human being. He can see, he can smell, he can hear, he can think, he can vocalize, but not in the ways we do. When he needs to hear, it's, well, a matter of sensing the vibrations in the air. So that entire cloud can act as a big ear. And the same thing works when speaking. He just vibrates the air within him and can communicate with us by sending out sound waves. As for seeing, I'm still trying to wrap my head around how the heck he's doing that. No optic nerve, no real way to perceive light or process it. I mean, honestly, he shouldn't even be able to think in this state. He's an anomaly. So exactly the kind of thing we deal in, the woman says, sort of smirking. I suppose so. When do you think he'll be field ready? And Arthur looks over and he's like, are you sure about field ready? I mean, he deserves some sort of time to rest, to catch up on things. He's been gone for decades. He was a military soldier like you, right? In World War I. So when will he be field ready? I'll see what we can do. Excellent. The communists and the Allies are both working on more than enough to keep our hands full. And she turns and starts to walk outside of the room. And Agent Arthur? Don't question me again. Or no, she's an Arthur. Don't question me again. Of course, Sergeant Mill, not Mills. I feel like that's a dumb name. Hold on. I didn't. Again, this is a case of me not thinking to name a character before the session because I'm a dummy.
No,
Chat.
I think Mills is a sick name.
Okay.
Like the Mills bomb used by British soldiers in World War II.
Of course, Commander Mills. And she steps out of the room. I know. With that, we are gonna sort of get like a time lapse of like, you training and getting to know your abilities, and them doing tests on you, and you are a conscious gaseous form. Anything caught within you, you can attempt to move the same way any other person would, except more so through wind power and wind force lifting it, creating
more
vortexes,
like
air pressure.
Rather than
We see like them do tests where they basically put you in a wind chamber to see if you what forces of winds you can stand up against, and you basically blow away in the same sort of wind that it takes to like pick up a human off the ground. You know what I mean? Well, a little bit less than that. Like a hurricane would be enough to jostle you around, but like a windy day, you'll be fine. A windy day for you is like when a person has to walk through water. You know what I mean?
It's muggy. It's weird. It's just overall not a fun time.
And then we see like it's like bodily condension test number 1. Agent Flux attempting to compress body together, and we see like the gas cloud getting denser and denser around an object, and like the object's lifting up and is sitting above the gas cloud, but it stays as just that, a gas cloud. And then it's like test 2 and they're like test 3, and they're just showing like a bunch of tests of you trying to like condense yourself down and become a solid rather than a gas, but none of them ever seem to work. Like that shows them like putting you in super cold conditions, like literally like throwing liquid nitrogen into your cloud at one point, but like none of it condenses you together. And then eventually,
at this point, like how I'm in the shape of I'm in the vague shape of a body.
Yeah, like a ghost, like a misty ghost man.
I feel like whenever that happens, like they try something, and obviously they're not gonna tell me. I'm just gonna be like, when they try and dump it, the liquid nitrogen on me. I'm just going to be thinking like, you can't see me, but I'm like, what was that for? Type of pose.
Yeah.
Like all these different things happening.
Get a hero point. But yeah, they're cutting through all the tests. Then finally, one of them's like, "We think we have a way for you to blend in finally." And they a little door opens up in the test chamber, and you see floating or sitting there a suit of bronze and leather with a large gas mask-looking face at the front. It's not actually you being solid, but I mean. It should work. The whole suit is pneumatically designed. Tubes and valves that you'll be able to control, allowing you to act like you have a human body with muscle structure again. It's the best thing we've got so far.
Now, are you trying to make me recall my days back in the trenches, or is this design just for laughs?
It's prototyped. It's just the prototyping. We needed to create a valve for you to enter, and we settled on a air filter in the front being the best option. For now. But the final design hasn't been settled on yet, if you don't like it.
I'm only jesting. If this, and I motion towards it as if I'm a hand model, the best that I can do for now, well, considering that there are no needs for typewriters, or, if I'm being frank, the use of mail is becoming scarce recently, I'm sure that you can find something better in the meantime. And I kind of make my way in.
So yeah, and like I said, the whole suit is basically like an artificial pneumatic-powered human body. You know, so it's a bunch of thin chambers and tubes that all run together to fucking, you know, make you look like a person.
Physical.
Yeah, which allows you to lift things with greater ease. Because before, like, matching human levels of strength could at times be a strain. But in this form, you can basically do average human actions without any difficulty because all of the distribution of your thing is designed to match human musculature and blah blah blah. And then like, once again, we enter a montage of now you training with like firearms and stuff. And as we do that one, it cuts to... Ooh, Jesus. Was that a fucking gun cocking?
Yes.
0 point.
Don't worry. I have multiple you'd like. The MP5, a classic Cold War the classic Cold War. Anyways, I'll let you do your thing, sorry.
We we keep cutting between like more of training images of you alongside you walking alongside Commander Miller. And as she walks, she's just like, I think it's time we finally catch up fully on who we are. Or the Organization of Societal Preservation, OSP. We were formed in the immediate aftermath of the atrocities committed during World War II.
There was a second one?
They haven't gotten that far in your re-education yet?
Suppose I haven't. It's hard to catch up after, well... What?
God, it was
Becoming whole again.
What was it, 1914? I said originally, and now it's the 70s, so it's been nearly 60 years.
Yeah. It's strange to learn it secondhand rather than, well, experience.
I suppose. But something was discovered in the immediate aftermath of the war. German experiments, unusual tests, all dating back, or all being able to be traced back to a top secret division within the German army. And as she says that, you know, she pulls out like a case file, and you're flipping through it, and you can see like Tesla guns and like suits of power armor and floating bells and like weird technology, and plastered across all of it is the same symbol: a snake eating a human skull. We have theories that the organization dates back to even before World War II era Germany, and have had their fingers within European nations for generations. But they were getting more active then. All of everything we found shows that they may have died off by now, but that doesn't mean their research didn't.
So these science-savvy Germans, if I may. Though it might be a stretch, I believe that I've recalled this symbol. I'm not quite sure if, well, that might be of any help, or...
On the day of your death? Or rebirth, I suppose?
It seems familiar. I don't quite know when, or where I've seen it, but...
Arthur recounted the tales with us. When we went to find you, he had a suspicion that the rumors of the ground talking there, of ghosts, could have been you. I suppose he was right.
Well, I suppose it's best if Arthur heard those and not any other, random stranger.
Oh, plenty of people heard it. Arthur was the only one to deduce what it was.
Damn it, I talked.
It's alright. A lot of people talk in their sleep. But either way. Even though that division is gone, even though that division is gone and much of their research lost, doesn't mean all of it was. For the last couple of years, or for the first few years during the aftermath of the war, we were an organization formed through a coalition of all of the Allied forces, Russians, French, Americans, and British, in an endeavor to hide these. They were all of the technology was deemed too dangerous to allow any one group to hold. So, we keep it away. We study it, and the eventual goal being to reintroduce this technology into society when it's deemed fit. You should see this stuff we found called Velcro. It's incredible. This talk that we're going to let out soon, though. Seeing as it's not that advanced. But either way. She clears her throat. In recent years, I've deemed that we have that our purpose has outgrown the original goal. Others are trying to follow in the footsteps of those mad scientists, and we think you and Arthur are ready for field duty alongside a few of our other agents. And she brings you into basically like a briefing room finally, and she's like, "This is Dr. Khrushchev," and she shows you a picture of a German dude.
Mm-hmm.
He was a member of the unnamed group that we've been going after, who we've currently deemed the Snake Eater group, or who has for now been deemed the Snake Eaters due to us not knowing their internal name.
Well, I suppose that makes sense considering their branding.
Yes. Gustav has been seen it's been traced back to having worked on several of their projects. And she starts flicking through lightning guns and little bombs that are releasing the orbs of electricity and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It started as attempts to create EMPs that would break down tanks and vehicles of the enemy, but escalated quickly. And you see a guy wearing a big suit of basically mecha armor fucking shooting lightning from it.
Mm-hmm.
But now we've traced it, or we thought he had disappeared, but we've now discovered that he's moved to Russia and is working for Stalin.
Well, I suppose that's why I don't have any of those features on the suit.
She glances over for a moment, shrugs off what you said, essentially. And she's like,
a man's a little jealous. I can't help that. I'm human.
He's our attention was drawn towards the Siberian tundra when a large thunderstorm formed within the area. We sent stealth flyers that we acquired to fly over, and we captured these pictures. And you see a massive fucking Tesla tower with a storm around it. We believe that the Russians and the Allies, or that both the USSR and the USA, have recruited a number of former German scientists in the hopes of advancing their weaponry, disregarding the treaty that led to our creation. We're in the midst of a Cold War, not just of nuclear weaponry, but of even more advanced and dangerous technology. And I've deemed that it's the purpose of the Organization of Societal Preservation, not just to hide the technology that was recovered, but to stop more like it from being made. Weapons like this would be far too devastating if they fell into the wrong hands, and that's where they lie right now. So, what do you say? You willing to help Ops?
To stop humanity from destroying itself once more. I don't see why that's... Well, I can't do that. Anyways, it's going to be a short trip, I'm sure. Just a year tops.
Of course. Look at you and Arthur suited up and heading out. And with that, we cut to you got the OPS OPS vehicle bunker, undisclosed location, and like you and Arthur like walking through, like getting your equipment, like your suit. You have your suit, and they're giving you, a couple of guns and like, just generic like 1970s spot like soldier equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And fucking Arthur, who again, like he was like 20 in 1914, so now he's like in his like fucking hang on. Like he's probably like 90 years old at this point. And he's getting all equipped like you.
Well, Arthur, just like the old days, I suppose.
I suppose so. Although maybe a little bit more bizarre than you would think.
Yes.
Or bizarre than we would have imagined.
If I'm being honest, I would have thought that you would have been younger. Or at least would have joined me in your ethereal form.
Forgive me, but I ain't quite looking forward to giving up the old pecker yet, and he pats you on the back.
Oh. I'd recommend it, actually. Free care from the States. No fears about health. Quite the...
I already don't have to worry about health. You see, he's like, again, like looking at his weaponry, and like you notice he's grabbing like a bunch of other like shit, like he's he's like, how do I put this? He's got like pens and scissors and fucking like bottles and canteens and toothbrushes. Like he's like kitting himself out with the weirdest collection of stuff alongside the military equipment. But yes, I already don't have to worry about my health. And as he's doing that, he's like, got caught by the Germans back during World War II.
Oh.
Turned me into a guinea pig of sorts. Bit them in the ass, but came out good for me. They had a super soldier program they were trying to do.
And I suppose you got the Germans got the short end of the stick.
They finally got they wanted to test on prisoners of war rather than their own men. Fatality count was high. And right as they perfected it, U.S. soldiers came storming in and freed me. Now my muscle tissue doesn't degrade. I don't tire. And while I look older, I'm still at peak physical health.
Oh. Surprised the Yanks came in for, saving us as they did.
They did in both wars. World War I and II. Though, by the time they came into World War I, it was pretty much already a one battle. World War II, though, they were a real help.
Well, I quite remember their songs quite fondly.
You should hear some of the music they're making now. It's something else.
Shock to my old ears, I'd imagine.
I suppose if you you might enjoy it more if you words. I suppose you might enjoy it a little bit more if you ease your way through the evolution of music over the last 60 years.
Of course.
A lot has changed in music. Actually, just listen to the entire discography of the Beatles. They've kept up with the times pretty good. I'll have to recommend other things to you, too. You should see what movies look like nowadays.
Nothing like the shows from before?
Way better. With that, we're gonna... Okay, I'm actually gonna... I'm debating one thing.
Go for it.
Should we keep going? Like, I'm realizing we've been stretching for a while now. We're less than some other sessions. But I have an offer. We can keep pressing on now for you to go on this mission, which I have somewhat planned out, but, like, I think I could definitely make this next mission better if we split it to be its own session and gave it more time to play out. Because right now, we'd have a half an hour to an hour to do it if I want to finish the session in a timely manner.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Well, I'm,
so
as they say, more than willing to have patience. You know what they say about coffee and, well, the watched coffee and its taste.
yeah. So we're gonna let this session break in two.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody come back in the future for more Hero Infinite. Now, it's not guaranteed that the next stream will be this one, but if you're watching all of this in playlist order on YouTube, by the time the other stream's up, I will probably be the next one in the playlist. Probably. No guarantees. I don't know if I'm gonna arrange the playlist in my head right now. But, yeah. We'll continue the stories of Agent Flux. I think that was a good intro story session.
And I think this is a nice end.
Was that a fucking typewriter?
Yes, it is.
Get a hero point. I'll see all you on Twitch and YouTube later on. Ta-ta.
Goodbye.